Here you guys for your Excel tutorial. We're going to start off by going to homework problem set 3, and this is going to be from question 17. What you're going to start with is once you get to question 17, you're going to click here for the Excel file, and it'll download it into your computer. We're going to do the sample using the price data. So this is going to be our task. Once you download, you'll see when you open your Excel folder, you will see this file looking this way. Now, in this case, we're only going to be working with the price data. So one thing I would recommend here as a procedure is to open a new worksheet by clicking the plus sign here at the bottom left of your screen. Once you do that, a new sheet is created. And I'm just going to rename this sheet as price. Now I'm going to go back to my original data set and I'm going to copy column C, which is the price, copy that, and I'm going to paste it here in column A. Now we have the data that we're going to be working with this example. So I'm going to start off by teaching you how to find the mean, median, variance, range, standard deviation, etc. using Excel. So first off, what we need to calculate before we can generate all of the other data is what is the mean. I'm going to create a little bit of a table here to help us answer all these questions. So we'll start with mean. We'll do median. We'll do range. Actually, let's do skew here. Range, variance, and standard deviation. Okay, now this data, if you read in the prompt of the question, it tells you that this is going to be sample data. So we're going to be finding the sample mean, sample variance, and standard deviation. So first off, to find the mean, what we're going to do is we're just going to type in to this table. We're going to type in an equal sign and type in the word average. Once you type in the word average, you'll see that you get a parentheses. And then what we're going to do is going to highlight or select all our data. So we have 105 observations and we've selected all of them. Pressing enter, we find the mean is 357,026. I'm just going to put a little bit of I'm going to put a comma here just to separate out the dollar amount. As a little bit of insight here, sometimes you'll see that you may want to increase the number of decimals. And in this case, there is no more decimals, so it doesn't allow us to increase it. But for example, if there was more, we could expand them by clicking on this button here. Next, for the median, we're just going to type in equals the word median and do the same thing. We're going to copy our data set and we're going to press enter. Same thing, we'll put a little comma, click on the comma, and now we find the median is 323,000. Now, comparing the mean and the median, notice that the mean exceeds the median, and therefore we're going to say that the distribution is skewed to the right. So we have a right word, skew, because mean is greater than median. Okay. Next, range. For the range, it's a little bit of a more complicated formula. We're going to type in equals. We're going to type in the word max, and then we're going to highlight our data. And then we're going to close the parentheses. Then we're going to put a minus sign and then type in the word min. Again, highlight your data. And we're going to press enter. And this is going to be the range of our data set. It's about 751,000. Now there's several ways to do the standard deviation and variance. First, I'm going to show you the way we do it in class, which is creating the columns. So in this case, our price, we'll call it X. We're going to create a column where we take each X value and subtract it from the mean. Okay, so we're going to do equals. and we're going to click on the first cell, and we're going to subtract our mean. So we're going to click the cell with the mean in it. Now, before we press enter, what we're going to want to do is we're going to put anchors around that specific mean so it doesn't shift as we copy the formula. And we're going to put a $sign in front of the G and after the G, and then we're going to press enter. So notice in this case, it tells us that the difference between the mean and X bar is negative 150,000. Now, all I'm going to have to do here is copy this formula for all our cells. And to do that, I'm just going to highlight or make sure this cell is activated. Then I'm going to go to the bottom right corner of that cell until the cross, that is a white cross, turns into a black cross. And then I'm simply either going to just drag all the way to our last observation, or we can simply double click on the bottom. I'll show you in the next step. Now, remember, that's our first column, X minus X bar. This one is going to be X minus the mean squared. Okay, so we're going to square each of those observations. So equals this, put the little caret, that's a shift 6, and then 2. And this is the square of that 150,000. And then all I'm going to do simply to copy that formula is go to the bottom right corner and just double click. And now we have all our data to generate the sum of the mean differences. So next thing I want to do is in this variance equation, what I'm going to do is type up the components we need. So first off, we need the sum of this column, X minus mean squared. So I'm going to select all this column. And then we're going to divide that by the number of observations minus 1. So in this case, there's 105 observations. So we're going to divide that by 104 and press enter. And this is our variance. Notice it's a very large number. Now, notice when I clicked that comma, you saw all these hashtag signs, which you may think is an error. But in fact, all it is this cell is too small to display all the data. So what we're going to do to fix that is just go to this column G, highlight it, and then just go right in between G and H and just double click. And then that cell will expand out and you can adjust it how you want. Okay, so now you see all those numbers. And the standard deviation is simply the square root of the variance. So we're just going to say, equals square root of that value and press enter. And there's our standard deviation, 160,000. Now, next thing is I just want to show you how this can be done without the table, but sometimes a table may be useful, especially if you need to check your work that, for any of the other problems we do, because remember, you can't use, this is not going to be a useful tool when it comes to exams. So the way you would generate the variance without this table is you would just simply type in equals VAR. And if we're using sample data, just VAR.S, open parentheses, go to your data set, highlight the data, press enter. And notice the variance is the same number as we have listed in this cell. And then for standard deviation, type in STDEV.S for sample, .P if it's population. Again, highlight the data itself and press enter. And notice that these both match. So this table here that we've created, this is like your descriptive statistics. Okay, here's all of your different descriptive statistics, and that's their values in this data set. Just remove some of these extra words, and there you have it. If we want to adjust these columns so they're all the same, we can also set that up as well. Now, you guys replicated for the other components.